Hi everybody, welcome back to Andertons TV. Look, I've got Thom in the house with me today.
Hello.
And that must mean that we're playing guitars mighty fast. And today's guitars that we're playing mighty fast are the new Ibanez guitars for 2025.
They are.
Welcome to Andertons, sir.
Nice to see you.
Yes, good to see you too. And I'm glad. I know that we've got we're in capable hands here, and he will do an amazing job of showing off these guitars.
Hopefully.
Yes, indeed. Okay, so our first guitar for this 2025 range is probably the one that I'm personally most excited about, because they've expanded the AZ series into a standard price point, so it's going to be a little bit more affordable for us all. So please, Mr. Thom, take us through it.
These are the new standard series, as you said. Are we allowed to talk about price, roughly?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah? So they come in at under £500, I think.
They do.
Which for the specs is kind of insane, like for what you get. If we start the headstock, we've got locking tuners straight out of the gate, which is great if you are an Ibanez fan. We've got stainless steel frets as well, which for this
sub 500 quid, that's nuts, right?
It's crazy. You normally see that. You don't even get guitars over $1,000 for stainless steel. Usually.
You're right.
We've got roasted maple necks on them, so you're going to get the same features as the normal AZ sort of range, so that's the premium and the prestige. We've got a Jatoba fretboard, so that's going to be the only difference between that and the
like a more affordable version of Rosewood. Right?
Exactly. Yeah, it's got a similar grain. It looks roughly the same. We've got an older body, and we've got a flame maple top on these as well, which is actually a flame maple top, which is cool. For less than £500.
I think that's nuts. I mean, you got some new pickups from Ibanez, modern custom pickups.
Correct.
You've got the dyna switch still, so you have 10 different settings, which is nuts.
Yeah, so you cycle between them, you swap this thing, and then it changes the way it works, so you've got maximum versatility out of it. Got a 6-point trem on it as well.
Yep.
And you can do all that.
I had a little tiny noodle on that. I think that the trem is the only thing that gives it away as a slightly more affordable guitar. We were also talking before about, these being an incredible platform for maybe a mod shop guitar now, because it's such a great playing guitar.
Yeah.
So and there's tons of aftermarket trem systems if you want something a bit more floaty, it's still stiff, isn't it?
Yeah, they're not recessed, but that's fine. You can set them up so that they sort of do that, and then you can, like you would on a Strat or anything like that.
Well, we got 3 colours in this, which you will see on screen now, all with the flame top. We've also got an HSS version, which we'll show you in a second with a pick guard. But please, Mr. Thom, do your thing. Take us through, some sounds.
So we've got some cleans.
Oh, this is where it gets complicated.
Yes. I have to refer to the sheet.
Okay, so we're now those first 5 sounds that you heard from Thom there is basically how most HH guitars are wired with a 5-way switch. And again, I love apparently the reason the AZ series are called AZ is because it will do all the tones from A to Z, which is that's what it is. It's like a super versatile working guitar, right? And I think you've demonstrated that at the beginning.
Does all the things.
Okay, so in the Dynamics mode, our neck humbucker in position 5, basically, on the switch, is both coils are working, but you're only hearing the inner coil. So this is what's called a tap, essentially. So you've still got the hum cancelling, but hopefully a more single coil sound.
Cool.
And this is a great demo, because the next position down is now just that inner coil with the front coil gone. So that's kind of a really cool demo of what's the difference between a tap and a split.
Yeah, it's huge.
In the middle, it's both humbuckers, but in their coil tap modes. So all the coils are working, but you're only hearing the back coil of each humbucker. And then essentially your final two positions are a bit like they were on the neck. So position 2 is just a single coil on its own. It's the back one.
Oh, this one.
Yeah. And then finally we've got this power tap. And Mr. Thom, if you'd find yourself a gainy patch and then just do whatever you want to do. These are going to be so popular. The price is nuts on these. So yes, diving over to the Andertons website if you want to see some more close-up pictures and spec and stuff. But these 3 colours, trans black sunburst, violin sunburst, which is the one Thom has, and trans turquoise burst are lovely. Should we move on to its sort of sibling, brother, sister, whichever way we're going here? So this is same price, same series, very slightly different model number on screen now. 2 colours, trans black sunburst and trans turquoise burst. Looking through the spec, everything is basically the same other than the fact that these are pickups and they're now mounted onto a pick guard as opposed to direct mounted into the body.
They do have different pickups though.
Yep.
Yep.
That sounds great, man. I mean, again, just looking at the detail on the back of these guitars, I'm guessing yours is the same, right? But
yeah,
you got this lovely AZ style contour with the rounded off heel joint. It's not a heavy guitar, is it? It's not crazy light, but it's sort of, it's like
feels solid.
Yeah, comfortable sort of typical Strat weight, 24 frets. I mean, like you say, these are going to be super, super popular.
Yeah.
If we go into the Dynamics 9 mode, crazy things start happening. So if we start with position 5, you've now got the 2 single coils but wired in series, so sort of humbucker. Nice. Position 4 is the back single coil and the front single coil. So you've got this like extended Strat. The middle position now is all the pickups.
Cool.
And then finally, next one, you've got a split coil on the bridge. So yeah, just the front coil. And the reason this is Dynamics 9, not 10, is because your final one is the same, regardless of where you. So it's the humbucker again. Could we get a little bit of noodling shred? Look, that's it. So that's the AZ standard series done. I mean, assuming these are sort of $479 list, and maybe there'll be little, discounts off of list price from music stores. I can't think what else you're going to get for sub 500 quid. That's really
it's crazy, right? Like the specs and everything else. I mean, like you've got flame maple tops, like I said. They've got older bodies on them, like proper woods everywhere. You know, there's very few things that have been sort of cut corners on, I think.
Yeah.
We were saying actually that they're sort of a really good spot to do like modding on as well, because I know Ibanez has got a big, like there's people who mod the Gem Juniors quite heavily.
Yeah.
These could potentially be quite fun to mod, you know, because they're sub £500.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to swap the pickups out, or the trem, or
Yeah.
darken the fretboard, whatever you want to do with them, that's cool because it's a budget guitar and you can do all sorts of stuff.
I would 100% be looking at, could I get one of those Goto trem? Because I think that's the only thing for me that feels,
it's a 6-point trem, right?
Yeah, like radically different to the next AZ version up, which is almost twice the price, right? Yeah. It just feels like the trem. So whether you put a Goto or one of those new Vega trems on it or something like that, that is stellar. Anyway, okay.
One other thing. The dynamic switch can be used with different pickups as well.
So you don't have to have the stock Ibanez ones for the dynamics wiring. Yeah, so if you had other ones,
it uses the same wires, and it's just its own switching system. So that's quite a useful thing.
It is useful.
I
barely use the 5 settings on my Strat, let alone feeling like
I'm just here,
10.
right? Yeah.
But no, that's great. Okay, look, so that's AZ. So this is kind of like your super versatile Swiss Army knife kind of guitar. We're going to move on to things that perhaps are a little bit more comfortable in a heavier kind of a genre. Yeah, so there we go. Coming back in a mo. Okay, we are now in uber familiar Ibanez territory. For me anyway, when I first started selling guitars, the RG550 had just come out. It kind of became, for me anyway, like the iconic super Strat of them all. And what is cool now is there's a 460 version. So 550 has the scratch plate, 560 had the direct mount to the body and no scratch plate, and this is the 400 version. So actually not that much more expensive than the AZ that we were on, still around about the £500 mark, but big differences now. So we got the Wizard 3 neck, so real classic Ibanez skinny neck, super fast playing, quantum pickups, Floyd, well, it's not Floyd Roses. I always say Floyd Rose, but Ibanez make all their own versions of that. Yeah, that's right. So look, Edge 02 is the trem system. Mr. Thom, whilst you were tuning, you didn't hear this because obviously you didn't film it, but check this mother out. Here we go. For all you Eric Clapton fans out there. Tell me, as a player who obviously is, into that sort of genre and plays super rapid,
that genre, yeah.
Is the Wizard 3 neck, is that like does that just enable that style of play in a way that a classic sort of Strat style neck just can't?
Well, when you look at all of the really fast players, they all play Wizard necks, right?
Yeah.
Or at least at some point in their life, they played the Wizard neck.
Yeah.
It definitely does. You've got that sort of very close to the fret thing. Means you can wiggle your fingers just a little bit easier.
Are you a sort of thumb around the back of the neck and it just gives you that sort of grip?
And then I sort of brought it up a bit, just because you get proper technique like that. But yeah, like it's fantastic. It's got a good, it's not like flat and then it goes suddenly round. It's got a good curve on it. So you should be able to grab some of those frets very easily.
Yeah.
And the fret access is insane as well, so you can get up here if you want.
That's crazy, look at that. You could have like 3 more frets on there and you'd still be fine.
Well, if you mash it into the pickup, you could probably get some more.
But, and again, fair play to Ibanez, they don't get enough credit for the fact that they do make a lot of their own hardware. So the Low Pro Edge, Low Pro is, I think, on a slightly more expensive RG model, but the Edge 0.
Yeah.
What I really like about that is they took that original Floyd Rose design, which does have a tendency to sort of sit slightly proud of the body, and they sort of redesigned it to just make it lower profile.
I mean, when I started learning guitar, I had a Ibanez bridge, and then I moved over to a Floyd Rose later on, and then I was like, what's all this extra stuff, because I got used to it. And I think back in the day as well, there was a guy the Slipknot guitarist, Mick
Right,
Thompson.
yeah.
He had one of these, but just bolted to the body. Like it didn't have springs or anything in
Right.
the back because he liked the feel.
Yeah.
And these are fantastic. You know, when you're palm muting, you're not going to shred your hand
Yeah.
like you would on a vintage thing. So
No, it's very cool.
Fantastic.
I think we always say when you get guitars with these types of floating trem systems that are slightly more affordable, and there might be more novice guitar players going, oh, great, I'm going to get one of those. Do just take into account that any, with locking that up here, floating trem system down here, micro tuning controls here, it's way more of a, I was going to say a faff, which might be a bit unkind.
But I think there's a small learning curve.
Yes.
And there is a bit more time with setup. But once it's set up, it generally stays there, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think, if you know how to set them up, then you'll find there's
Yeah.
a billion videos out
Yeah.
there. I think Andertons has probably got quite a few.
Maybe, and I know that again, they're set up to a certain tuning tension.
Yes.
So you play an E, you set it to E, that's fine. If you're the kind of guitar that goes, oh, I'm going to drop tune this down. This is not the kind of trem system that you want for that. As in, if you want to play in drop tuning, you would set this for the drop tuning and then leave it in the drop tuning.
Yeah.
But I think that's super. Two
So
very
if you
cool
wanted
colours.
additional tunings, you could get multiple affordable
Yeah,
guitars.
exactly. Yes, why have one when you could have five? Could we just, perhaps with a clean sound, just go through the pickups? Because they are a different series to what's on the AZ.
These are the quantum ones, right?
Yeah.
I think.
They sound slightly louder, don't they?
Yeah.
And fuller than the single coils that were on the AZ.
Yeah, I think so. Different pickups, I guess. They probably match the humbucker and the
sure.
pointiness a little bit more. Yeah.
Well, that's great, and it's great to see again Ibanez leaning into their sort of heritage with the RG models at such an affordable price. Before we move on to this guitar here, there is also, we don't have a sample of this today, so we'll show a picture on screen, but it's much the same price, the RG RT 420, so it's another 400 series guitar. It's a reverse headstock 2 humbucker, but with the same tremolo on there, and it basically, again, Wizard 3 neck, so it's much the same sort of vibe as this, just stylistically, just black. It looks badass, looks cool. Anyway, should we move on to this?
Let's do it.
Holy moly, it's a good job we got the lights on in here, because I've never seen a guitar like satin black, no inlays. Even the Ibanez logo is black, the hardware's black. Goodness me.
Even the back is black, the neck is black.
It's AC/DC, back is black. This is from the Iron Label series. There's a 6-string and a 7-string version of this. They'll be on screen, see the 7 strings. Baritone scale length, although we have just got it tuned E to E. It comes tuned E to E, which I sort of sometimes wonder if that defeats the object of it being baritone, but hey. What's different about this? So we've got a Wizard 3 neck, a NATO body, ebony fretboard, of course, because that's the blackest of black wood. Can't say wood in case you can't get it. And then you've got Dimarzio deactivator pickups, the Dynamics 10 switching system, and the Edge 0 trem system. Luminescent side dots. So we could actually turn all the lights off and you would still see the side dots.
That'd be very useful.
I would imagine this is designed for what, sort of country music and jazz?
Yeah,
mainly?
probably that really sort of single coil thing.
Absolutely, 100%. Definitely not what you're about to play.
Or
then.
this.
It's a very brave move to make the logo the same colour as the headstock. So you can kind of see it if you look super close, but I guess you've just got to know it's an Ibanez headstock, right? Otherwise you'd never know what it was.
Yeah, it's an upside down one, but yeah.
This is very true.
I mean, you can always get up close and sort of. Actually, no, that's really.
You kind of have to get it in the light.
That's really
don't you?
dark.
Yeah. It's nuts. And also, Iron Label, could we please put the Iron Label sort of logo on screen? Because it's just done in that classic metal font where you basically can't read the band name. But that's what it is. I guess, we know what demographic this range is
like
aimed
the
at.
back of a leather seat that's been out in the sun too long and it's cracked.
Absolutely. What are your impressions? Do we want to just put it on a clean sound?
We can put it on
go
a clean.
through some tones? It's got some pretty posh pickups in it. So
Yeah, it's tomato. With a country vibe.
that's the first and last time you will ever hear that style of music played on this guitar. I guess, Ibanez, if you're watching like that, I guess if you're going to make baritone guitars and the point is to give a bit more string tension with a lower tuning, you might as well supply them in a lower tuning. But anyway, other than that, I think it's very cool. 900 quid for the 6-string, 1,000 quid for the 7-string. It looks wicked. I love it. All right, shall we move on to something else? Okay, these next two guitars are unrelated in terms of their series, but they're both fan frets, so we thought we'd lump them together. The one Thom's playing is kind of cool. It's called an SML 721, and its big sort of differentiator is that the pickups on it are the pickups that were designed for the headless series, right? The Q series. This is the only non-headless guitar that Ibanez make that will feature those pickups. In terms of other features, we've got a wizard neck. We've got the fan-fretted fret job. Obviously, it's multi-scale, so your bottom E string is a longer scale than your top. We talked about the Q58 pickups. You've got Dynamix 10 still on it. Lots of Goto beautiful hardware, including locking machine heads and luminescent side inlays. I like the colour. I even like the S-style body. You're going to have to... Can you flip it so people can see the... Yeah,
the thinness?
It is.
Yes, very thin.
It's very comfortable looking. 5-piece neck.
It's very light as well.
I like it a lot. What you were just saying, you really like the sound of it, right?
Yeah.
Let's have a little listen. You're in its Dynamix mode, so, or are you not?
I think I'm
down
off,
there, you're
yeah.
right. You're sorry. So what's the sound that you really liked?
It was this one.
So that is that is the coil split neck pickup. It does sound fat. It doesn't have that thinness that sometimes coil split pickups have.
I guess that's the Q series pickups that are voiced across the range of frequencies.
It's something I think they tried to sort of compensate by making the neck pickup slightly brighter and the bridge pickup slightly darker to just sort of compensate what the natural tonality of the string is going to do over the
It sits really nicely though. Yeah, it's really nice.
Cool. What is your... Yeah, I'm always interested in a player that, of your style. What's your take on the fan fret thing? Do you love it? Are you neither?
Well, this is an interesting fan on these because they don't have the extended scale length that you would normally see on something like this, for instance. I think. So typically, when you see multi-scale, they're longer in the low E sort of side, and then shorter on the top. But that's usually it's like a 25.5 on the top, and then it goes lower on the bottom. Whereas this one specifically is 25.5 on the bottom, so that's normal scale length. And then this side is slightly
So the
closer
angle of the
together.
frets is less, you're saying, essentially, to get the...
Yeah, I think so. So mainly the distance from here to here is slightly shorter. So
Yeah.
it'd be, if you're struggling with bends and things like that, or like you play with fat strings, you might have a little bit of an easier time with the top strings on this because the scale length is shorter and it'll be therefore easier to bend. So I really like them. And people always say things about the multi-scale thing where they're like, oh, it just looks weird, it looks unwieldy, like I don't know whether I can get used to it. But the reality is that you probably spend a couple of hours with it and you go, this is fine. Like it sort of matches the way your hand...
Yeah, I mean, if you put these two, I mean, this is obviously this is a longer scale length and it's a 7-string, so we're sort of accentuating everything. But look at the way it's fanned, right? That you barely even notice.
Yeah.
The angle is changing.
It's pretty much neutral here.
Yeah, till you get to like maybe
to
the
the top.
7th, 12th fret even.
So if you're playing all the... I'm drop tuned at the moment, but yeah, if you're playing some of those things, they're just going to be super friendly. And then when you get to the shred end...
Yeah, I think that could be the surprise one of the whole lot that we've had today in the sense of it feels like it's... Yeah, I think that's a very cool guitar that a lot of players will be into. So that's a £900 guitar. That's money, not weight, America. And let's go to this one. Oh,
Dirty.
That was dirty. Your right hand is ridiculous. You even went a bit Mark King on us at one point in that. Yeah, so this actually is surprisingly affordable. This is down at the sort of 550 mark. That's money again, not model number. This is called an RGMS 7BP. Thank you, Ibanez, for your...
I think I know what that stands for.
Really?
Yeah.
Go on then.
It's 7,
Okay.
multi-scale,
Right.
blue poplar burst.
RG body shape.
Am I right?
You've cracked the code.
Yes.
Wow. So yeah, this is a Wizard 3 multi-scale neck, poplar bell top, Jatoba fretboard. What does this say? With a white step-off dot inlay. Oh, I see. So I see what you mean.
Oh, yeah, it moves up the top.
Array pickups, monorail bridge, and there you go in cosmic blue starburst. So yeah, this is obviously a 7-string. So you could drop down super low, couldn't you, on this if you really wanted to? Oh, he's going to. He's going
if you want
there.
that sort of... Yeah, it goes
You're
low.
going with sugar on me.
I think with the fan is quite extreme down the bottom, right? Like it's quite like that. It's not uncomfortable again. I think if you're doing like large stretches, it might be a little bit. That's quite large, but it's comfy, and I think for most people who are going to play stuff like this as well, they're probably most 7-string players. And I'm not going to like throw stones here.
Okay.
But I think a lot of people buy a 7-string to use the 7th string
Yeah,
a lot,
for sure.
right? So it's not really a problem if you're all the way down here. And you've got quite a large stretch, because it's fine. But the main thing is that the clarity of the low string is there, because you've got the multi-scale, you've got that extra length.
Yeah, and it becomes very percussive sounding, I think. Sometimes I think, I remember Rabir showing me some of his super fat tones for his very drop tune stuff, actually had very little gain on it, because the string itself is so percussive sounding. It doesn't need to be heavily distorted to sound.
Yeah, like the guys from Monuments, for instance, they're like super low tuned and they play with like very little gain, and it's sort of allowing that string to do the work and power through.
I think that's impressive for 550 quid or whatever that's going to be. So do you want to just do a few more tones then, and we shall move on?
Are there other tones?
Who knows?
Clean.
Can I just, on that point again, that genre of music is one of the few genres where I think coil-tapped and split sounding pickups sound good with that amount
Especially
of gain.
the bridge one as well. Yeah, because you get that sort of zingy, like, thing.
It really works, doesn't it?
There's technical terms. Yeah. But you get, like, you can hear it on the, like, loads of pick attack. Put some reverb on that.
Oh, yes, please. Yes. Although perhaps stylistically you might feel this is more aimed at the metal genre, there's plenty of players like Charlie Hunter and stuff like that who play a fan fret 7 style string and just use it for much more sort of melodic jazzy kind of stuff. And
I mean, it does. Still sounds good on that, you know? Like...
Totally agree. Totally agree. Anyway, 2 more guitars coming up. Oof! This, ladies and gentlemen, is the RGR52ET extraterrestrial phone home. This is probably the most advanced. This is like got every new invention of the last 10 years thrown on this guitar. So we've got the Fluence, the Fishman Fluence pickups, and we've got the Evertune bridge. Which actually, you realise that actually there haven't been very many inventions on the electric guitar in the last 70 years, have there?
Yeah, not since the Floyd Rose, I guess.
So yes, but the Evertune, if you're not familiar with Evertune bridges, is a crazy piece of wizardry that sort of mechanically keeps the string in tune. Yeah. So yeah, the new Fishmans here, you've actually got 3 voicing switches or positions, if you like. So you can pull the volume control in and out for one of the voicing options, and then you can use the switch for the other voicing option. I mean, I guess what you played at the beginning there was crazy. What else have we got here? Mikasa ebony fretboard.
Black.
Stainless steel frets. I think I mentioned this was the most expensive one that we've got here today. So this is $12.99, but it does look a cut above the rest in terms of its build quality, doesn't it?
Yeah, it feels really solid as well.
It's got all the gear.
Yeah.
Well, let's have a quick listen to some clean tones. Perhaps go through some of these new voices as well. I don't think I've heard these.
So this is neck.
Does the switch do something with the volume not pulled out?
Let's find out.
Let's find out.
So, not pulled out. So
what does that give you? 4? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, like 4 tones on each pickup. So you got a lot of different pickup on.
Yeah, sounds great.
It does sound good. And then I guess, again, if you're familiar with Evertune, you're going to know all this. But I guess if you go bridge and just chug super heavy, you don't get any of that. You don't get any of that. pitchy problem, but if you
Yeah,
can,
when it goes out of tune.
Yeah, so you can pick as hard
flubbiness.
as you like, and it still stays tight. So
Should we show that?
yes. See, that should be all over the place. And actually, there are some genres of music where you almost want that pitch issue.
Thing,
but you're not going to get that with Nevertune. So that's very cool. I like that a lot. Okay, so this is the last of our sort of probably more pointy metal-y guitars, and then we're going to do these two semi-acoustics over my shoulder here. This is RGD now, so RGD, D for drop tune or down tune, has a slightly different body shape to the regular RG. Yeah, you've got the spoon cuts on the horns, and you've got that armrest kind of thing. 7-string. Interesting choice of, where to put the pickup selector, I think. It's a sort of more simplified vibe. No tone control, just the dynamics control.
Yeah.
Don't need it.
Don't need it.
Don't need it. No tone, you don't need tone. Yeah. So Demazo deactivators. Again, it's an interesting one, isn't it? You've got this, what do they call it? A monorail bridge.
Yeah.
So you have a slight difference in the, well, it's not really the scaling, is it? I suppose more intonation, a little bit more control over the intonation.
I think the thing with the monorail bridge is that the strings have like no crosstalk between them.
Right.
So the saddles aren't touching, the bass plates aren't touching either, so you get more string separation.
Interesting.
Which will probably come in useful because it's down-tuned.
Yeah. All right. Well, look, and again, the None More Black kind of vibe here, where the logo is difficult to see, and the fretboard and all the hardware and everything's designed to sort of just be a. I wonder why they didn't put a black pickup switch on it then. Is it just like, hello, I'm just here, this little chrome pickup switch, you can still see
it's
me?
Distinguished.
Yes. All right, well, look, let's. This is a £900 sterling guitar, and it sounds like this. There's just no subtlety there.
There's nothing. It's just that.
Smacked in the face, full Tyson Fury mode. Or Alexander Usyk, depending on who, because we're shooting this video just before they punch the shit out of each other. So who knows? Who do you think? Do you a boxing fan?
I have no idea.
No, he doesn't even know what I'm talking about. Who's winning, Taylor?
Usyk.
Usyk. There we go. You're probably right. Okay, right. Thank you, Tom. Could you get your jazz chops on now as we go full semi-hollow? Jazztastic. This is a pretty blingy guitar. This might even be the blingiest one we've had all day. So this is from the Artcore range from Ibanez. Now, none of the basic models are new, so we've seen AS93s before, but we've just got new finishes, and specifically on this new Tree of Life inlay. So if you're not familiar with AS93, it's a sort of mid-price, upper mid-price kind of semi-hollow acoustic guitar from Ibanez. So we've got classic center block design with the laminate maple back and sides. In the one that Tom's playing here, you've got a quilted maple finish on it, which is rather lovely. Super 80 pickups on the burst with this. I love the tailpiece. I always think that's a really pretty sort of throwback to what Ibanez used to do in the 70s on their sort of, semi models.
Yeah.
Tree of Life inlay is very detailed.
Yeah.
You can get that in the burst or a solid black, all with gold hardware. The green one is also AS93, but doesn't have the Tree of Life inlay, and it also has the Super 58 pickups rather than the Super 80s. Money-wise, everything here is a pretty similar price. So you can go $699 for the green one, $699 for the black version of that, or $769 for that one. It's got all the kind of pro. I always think when you get the little rubber bits around the knobs, even though that's probably only cost 50p, it sort of gives it that pro elevation, doesn't it?
Feels good, you know?
It does.
You can grab it.
We must get a close-up on the engravings on these pickups as well, because it's a really, really beautiful detail. Anyway, let's have a little listen to some of the tones.
Start rolling it off a little bit. Presume that does all the things, that's just volume.
I don't even know how many of those chords were intentional, but I guess that's the beauty of jazz, right?
Yeah, you just make it up.
As long as it is, as long as you look like you meant to play it, you
as
just
long
get
as
away
you
with
follow
it.
one note to the top.
What are the, I mean, can it do on a sort of a bridge? Does it go a little bit Chuck Berry? You know, can you get a bit of rock and roll?
Let me change what I've got.
That's perfect. Right, let's have a quick swizz on the green one because it has got some slightly different pickups. So who do you think, let's vote below, who has got the greatest roster of jazz guitar players on their books? Is it Ibanez or is it Gibson?
Well, Ibanez is the largest jazz guitar brand of all time, right?
To be fair, George Benson, Pat Metheny, John Schofield.
Joe Pass back in the day, I think. He had a signature model, really.
Did he? I thought that was Epiphone.
Yeah.
I don't think it was Ibanez, was it?
I am right.
We don't know.
It's both. Luke says both.
Both,
says
he had an
both?
Ibanez and a, wow. So there's, I mean, I guess probably if you go right back to before Ibanez existed, Gibson would have had the sort of monopoly on the sort of the jazzers. But yeah, I do think Ibanez have done a fantastic job. And it's kind of weird as well, because when you think Ibanez, you think extremes of like pointy shred and then jazz.
And then,
it's like, weird.
It's almost like they do everything from A to Z.
Oh. Look, if you want a 335 style guitar, then you have to look at Ibanez Artcore. They make some great guitars, and it may well be the one that you like better than any other brand. But yes, absolutely superb. Looks beautiful. Yeah. Flick it round, show us the back. Look at that. Yeah. Great colour. Anyway, there are other colours as well available in the AS93. And if these are slightly too rich for you as well, the model below, the AS73, has also had a couple of new colours, which will go on screen now. It's like a very cool looking silver and an orange as well. But that, I believe, brings us to the end of our Ibanez 2025 range review, which is great because it's almost 2026 now. So we'll be doing it all again. No, these Ibanez are usually very good at actually shipping their 2025 models at the beginning of 2025. Wow. So links below. Some of these will probably be in stock already. That's it. Thank you, Thom. Have you enjoyed your first little trip to Andertons?
Yeah, it's been fun. It's been good.
Well, we'll have to invite you back and do some more shredding another day. Thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe. See you in another video soon.